Welcome to Learn Commerce PU online classes. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Welcome to our second PU Computer Science online classes. In last class, we already learnt some of the important, that is, types of inheritance, and we already know some of the types of inheritance are single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, multiple inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, and last one is the hybrid inheritance, and we already completed with meaning and also by using one normal or simple or suitable example for each inheritance. Now let us see, in this concept we are going to study about one program for our single inheritance. So the program to illustrate, to show the meaning of single inheritance. Why? Because we know the meaning of single inheritance. If a class is derived from a single base class, here one base class and one derived class, no more base, no more derived, just only one base class and one derived class is there. So the meaning of the single inheritance, if a class is derived from a single base class, okay, here, so this is the meaning about our single inheritance. And why? Because we know that the program also going to start by using some of the header file. So the first header file we need to use #include iostream.h to input and output. We need to use such header file, and the second header file our conio.h, that means for the CLR, SCR we are using, and maybe in case you are going to use endline, setw, anything in program, then sure we are going to use the header file, that is the iomany.h here. So if you want, you can use the iomany.h, the third header file, and such class is going to declare by using the keyword class, and ABC is the base class name. Clear this point here? So the ABC is the base class name, and such ABC containing some of the member data and member functions. So what are the member data and member functions we'll get in our base class ABC? So the private, that is the member data, and for the member data I want to use roll number, and second one is the name, and we already know why we are using the roll number. If we are using the roll number, then what's the data type we need to use? For the roll number, sure we are going to use the data type int. Why? Because the roll number going to display 1, 200, 200, so the data type is the int, and second one is the name, that means whatever the name you want to enter, it's going to enter letter by letter, one by one here. So the data type we are using the char, that is char here, and later next one is about our the member data. With that we also need some of the member function, and we know that the member function going to declare by using the access specifier, that is called as the public. So the public colon. Now I am going to define the member function. There is no any declaration how we are knowing. Why? Because you know about this one, the member function, if you are using the semicolon, then it is called as the declaration, but no any semicolon, directly I am using the flower bracket. So this is called as the definition of the member function. The member function name is the read member function, okay, the read only. So read, open, close. Now some of the read, that is equal to the input. I want to input some information by using the member function, but here I used the member function name as the read, and later next one I want to enter some of the information. Maybe the information is the enter roll number and name. Clear this point here? And such one going to display on monitor. Why? Because we already used cout, console output I want to display on monitor, and we already know if you are using in double quotation, That means such one going to display on monitor here one by one. Why? Because end line is there. So if you are using the end line, then sure we need to use one more header file. Header file is the iomanip.h. Okay, and later not just only the displaying of the message, sure we need inputting. So such one going to perform by using the operation. Operation is the SIN, full form of the SIN, console input. So how I declared the roll number in small letter and the name, like that only I need to use. In maybe in our double quotation, maybe capital or small, you can use any type here, but while going to input the data, like that only how we declared, like that only we need to use here. So roll number as well as the name. Why? Because we already know this type of inputting operation is calling as the cascading. Correct? No, here cascading input operations here. And later next one we open the floor bracket. So such floor bracket going to close. Now just only we inputted the data here by using the member function, read member function. Now whatever I inputted, such data I want to display by using another or second member function. The name of the member function is the display, and it is also going to define. Why? Because no any semicolon. Now such a display member function going to display some information on screen. So the information is the roll number. Roll number, that means you used here double quotation, means it going to display in a message here, but without double quotation, what's the value we adding, providing to roll number, such one going to display on monitor. So and such one, why? Because the second information is there, I want to display in next line. Clear this point here, in next line. So because of this reason I used the end line, and we already know for end line the header file iomanip.h here, and the second information I want to display, that is the name. So it going to display as a message. Why? Because you used the double quotation, and here two names are there. Why? Because one is the double quotation name and second one is without double quotation. The first one going to display as a message here, second one is going to display the name. Clear this point here, whatever the name we entered by using our SIN operation, such name going to display. It going to display the value and end line. And later we open the floor bracket. So such floor bracket going to close, and finally one more floor bracket by using semicolon. That means till here we completed the end of the base class definition. Clear this point here. So in our base class, the member data, roll number, name and member function are read, and we already completed some of the information what I want to display here, and what are the data we are going to input in this case here, and what's the data we inputted, such one going to display by using some of the information. And later next one, floor bracket semicolon. So this is called as the end of the base class definition. Why? Because we know that this is the program of a single level inheritance here. So we know the meaning of the single inheritance here by using one base class we are going to construct one more new class. Such one is called as the derived class, and we already know the base class name is the ABC. Now by using the ABC I am going to construct one new class by using the syntax of the defining derived classes. And what's the syntax of the defining derived classes? The syntax is the class and new class name. So the new class name in this program I am using XYZ. Clear this point here, and a colon. And in this program also I want to access all the member or the feature of the base class, that is from the public side. In public side, what are the features are there? In public side base class, it contains some of the features are, one is the read and second one is the display. Clear this point here. Why? Because the derived class want to access the feature from the public side here. In public side, some of the features are, one is the read and display going to access by our new class. The new class name is the XYZ, and we already know why, because after the visibility mode, that is the public I used here. and laterwards we need to use the base class name. The base class name is the ABC, correct? No, the base class name is the ABC. So this is the definition of the derived class. The definition of the derived class is the class, derived class name XYZ here, colon, I want to access from the visibility mode features, that is from the public side here. In public side, features are read and display, going to accessed by our new class XYZ, and the base class name is the ABC here. Then opening of the floor bracket, and we already know the base class, that means here the new the derived class not only inheriting the feature of the base class, the new class also containing its own additional feature also. So some of the additional member data and member function of the derived class are, first one is the private, the member data are M1, that is called as the marks 1, we can say as the, otherwise just you have to take M1, and second one is the M2, and third one is the T, that is equal to the total. Clear this point here? Why? Because here I am going to enter the roll number and name of the student. I am going to add the marks, first marks, second marks, each and everything here. So I used the member data as the M1, M2, T, and this is the member data of the new class. The new class name is the XYZ, and later next one, not only the new class containing some of the member data, it also has some of the member functions. So some of the member function of the derived class XYZ that are, one is the void read 1. Clear this point here? You should remember it. Why? Because the base class member function name I used as the read and display here, but the derived class member function I am going to give the name for the derived class member function as the read 1 and the display 1. If you are taking the same name read again, that means it's not possible to execute the program. So we need to change the name of the member function of the derived class, that is called as the read 1. Otherwise you can use any other name also. Then opening of the flower bracket. Now in this case I want to display some of the message. The message is the enter first marks and the second marks. Clear this point here? So why? Because read, that is equal to the inputting of the information. So before going to input any data into the marks M1 and M2, first of all we need to display the information. So what's the information going to display? The information is the enter first marks and the second marks. On that time we need to enter some of the marks by using the member data, that is the M1 and M2, and such one is called, why? Because here in one line we are going to use the information. So because of this reason, this type of statement is called as the cascading input operations, correct? No? Why? Because sin console input, by using sin operation we inputting the data for our M1 marks 1 as well as the marks 2. So you can't use the marks 1. Why? Because in declaration we used the M1 and M2, so we need to use M1 and M2 only here, and whatever we entered, maybe the M1 marks is 100, M2 marks is also 100, that means both 100 plus 100 marks going to enter into the another member data, that is called as the T, that is equal to the total. Clear this point here? So whatever we entered M1 and M2 marks, such one going to take by our another member data, that is called as the T here. And later next one we open the floor bracket, so such floor bracket going to close. Now this is the information, that means just only we inputted the information by using the member function read 1. Clear this point? By using the member function read 1. Now another member function here, not just only the information we need to enter, whatever the information we entered, such information also we need to display here. So we need one more member function of the derived class. The derived class member function name is the display 1. Should remember it. Why? Because the base class member function name is the display, but in our new class I used the member function name, that is the display 1. Okay, so void display 1. Now whatever the marks we enter, such marks I want to display here. So first of all it going to display the message, the cout console output. So the first marks, so maybe the marks is the 100. Clear this point here, the marks is the 100 or whatever the marks you can enter, and in the second line it going to display one more message. The message, why? Because we already used M2, so that is equal to the second marks. So it going to display the marks of the M2, and also not just only the M1 and M2, we already completed the calculation. The M1 and M2 marks should add into the another variable, that is to the total here. So it going to display the total marks, that is equal to the T. Clear this point here? How you got this T here? Why? Because we already completed in read one member function M1 plus M2. So all these marks going to add into the variable T. So such T going to display the total of the M1 and M2. And later next one, we open the floor bracket. Now such floor bracket going to close here, and later I already said in note, the note is the not only the base class definition, the derived class definition must be terminated by using the semicolon. We know that. Why? Because the base class name is the ABC and derived class name is the XYZ, and such XYZ we constructed by using base class ABC, and in our ABC two member functions, that is that are read and display, and in our XYZ also it have two member functions are read one and display one. And now just only I said how the base class definition terminated by semicolon, like that only the derived class definition must be terminated by using the semicolon. And after that, why? Because the next thing is about our the main function, and in our main function we need to pass some of the objects, or maybe one object we are going to pass. But still here, whatever, why? Because we completed one base class only, there is no any derived class. Now just only in this program we started by using the base class construct another class, that is called as the derived class here. So in case of the main function, when you are going to pass the main function, how we are going to create the object? You should remember it, it's a very important note. Why? Because in our derived class definition, or when you are using the derived class, so on that time we can say that whatever the object you are going to create, not by using our base class. So the object going to create by using new class. So the new class name is the XYZ. Clear this point here? Don't use the ABC. Why? Because it is the base class, and you should remember it. It's a very important note here. Why? Because when you are going to create any object, such object going to create by using new class. So the new class name is the XYZ, and we already used the header file, that is the our conio.h. So for that I am using one function. The function is the CLR and later now by using the object, the member function going to access. So how the object going to access the member function? Like that only it going to display all those information on monitor here. So first of all it going to access the ob.read. So whatever we return in our read member function, that means the base read member function, such one going to display on screen. And later next one it going to access the second member function, that is the read one, and third one is the ob.display and ob.display one here. So how we are going to write, how you want to access, so like that only it going to display. So you have to write it properly. And later next one is about finally. Why? Because before going to complete the flower bracket semicolon, I want to display, when you are going to press the enter button, we need all information one at a time. Because of this reason we need to use the function. The function is the get ch open close. Okay, and finally we open the flower bracket. So such flower bracket going to close. So that is the end of the program. Now let's see how it going to display the output on monitor. So first of all, why? Because we know that by the object going to declare by using the derived class, that is the XYZ, and I already said how we are going to access the member function. Like that only it going to display all those information on screen. So first of all I want to access ob.read. So in our read member function we already written return some information, that is the enter roll number and name. So by using sin function, that means we already completed in our program by the sin function. By using this sin function, we are going to enter the information for our roll number and name. For the roll number 1, 2, 3, 4 and the name I am using as the Ravindra. Clear this point here. And later next one, after that, after accessing the ob.read, the second member function is the ob.read1, and in our ob.read1 we already completed some information, that is the enter first marks and the second marks. Clear this point here. So we already completed in program. So enter the first marks and the second marks. So when it going to display the message, we are going to enter some information because by using sin function we already given some of the marks for the M1 and M2. So the marks for M1 is the 100 and for the M2 is also the 100 here. And later next one, after accessing some of the marks of Y, because it not going to display sin and T, not going to display here, just it going to display as a message. Whatever you return as a message, such one going to display. So it going to display as the enter first marks and the second marks. So here we are need to enter the value for 100 as well as for M2 it also the 100. And later next one, after that we are going to access the ob.display. Clear this one. So the ob.display, in ob.display we already written roll number and going to display the value of the roll number and name, and later next one the name of the student. So the roll number is the 1, 2, 3, 4. We already completed here 1, 2, 3, 4 and the name is the Ravindra, and finally it going to access the ob.display1. So in our ob.display1 we written as the first marks, that is the M1 going to display, second marks the M2 and total marks. Why? Because for the M1 we given the marks as the 100, M2 is also the same, that is equal to the 100, and after that it going to display the total marks of the M1 and M2. So it going to display first marks is equal to 100, second marks is equal to 100 and the total marks is equal to 200. So this is the example for our single inheritance. Thank you.